نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. Matters of Aqeedah from the book of أعلام السنة المنشورة اعتقاد الطائفة المنصورة. We talk about two important matters in Aqeedah that the people of السنة والجماعة الله سبحانه وتعالى guided them to follow the truth and to follow the Quran and the way of the Prophet the way it was at the time of the Prophet and others deviated from this by following their desires. These two matters is regarding to the believers. They would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. برؤية الله عز وجل. This is one thing. The second thing is الشفاعة, the intercession of the Prophet and the different types of shafa'a or intercession. Briefly, this is something that is a very important concept in our deen. Once we have this principle so clear, then by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the way to save oneself from any form of deviation by the will of Allah, of course with the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the reason why human beings they deviated? Whether it's disbelievers or deviants or whatever there is, of course it matters of shirk, and also it matters of not following the messengers when it comes to believe in al-ghaib. To believe in the ghaib, to believe in the unseen. The unseen is unseen. You do not see this, it's the unseen. It's ghaib to us. And since it's ghaib, who has the authority from among the human beings to speak about the ghaib? Should be no one except the ones that receive revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the only way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can convey the unseen to the human beings. It's through the messengers, and none but the messengers. Why the deviants, they deviated from the truth? Why the disbelievers, after the messengers were sent to them, they deviated from the truth and they worshipped others than Allah? Is because they didn't respect it. They didn't take the fact that only to follow the messengers when it comes to matters of unseen. Right? So when you find people, for example, worshipping Jesus as the Lord or the Son of the Lord, who told you that? Did Isa alayhi salam say that to the people? Of course not. So they got this from something after him. Somebody saw a dream, somebody felt something. Right? So they invented things. The same thing when it comes to deviants. Something like the believers when they see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. This is a matter of unseen to us. Some of those who use their own deficient intelligence in this life, and they see things with their own eyes in this lives with the deficiency of it, they say, how can somebody sees Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High, when He said subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَا تُدْرِكُ الْأَبْصَارُ وَيُدْرِكُ الْأَبْصَارُ, that no sight whatsoever can encompass Him, and He subhanahu wa ta'ala encompasses all things. So thinking that they are exalting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they said, oh, this cannot happen. It cannot happen if it's desires of people inventing things. But if it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that in the Quran, the Sunnah of the Prophet this is a matter of unseen to us. And we have nothing but to submit ourselves and to believe in it, and that's it. We don't put forward our own intelligence, right, when it comes to the wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This fact, believe it or not, is not clear into most of the human beings in the physical. That you just follow the messengers in matters of your belief and all of your affairs, because this is the only valid and legitimate thing for people to get to know the unseen and what's coming ahead and so on. One of which again is رؤية المؤمنين لربهم تبارك وتعالى. The believers, they will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the الآخرة, in the hereafter. What is the dalil? قال الله تعالى وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. Surah Al-Qiyamah, verse number 22-23. Wujuh is the plural of which? Right? Faces. يومئذ ناظرة. And that day, ناظرة, meaning that it's pleasant, that it's fresh, it's beautiful, and so on. إلى ربها ناظرة, to its Lord, it's looking. So it's looking to its Lord. No ambiguity to it, right? It does not mean more than one thing. right? It means only one thing. It's not mutashabihat, for example. It's a clear statement. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. Surah Yunus, verse number 26. لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. To the believers, those who did what is good, they will get al-husna, and al-husna is what is good. They will get what is good as a reward for them. وَزِيَادَةً, and more. Ziyada is more. What is the evidence here? This is where the Prophet ﷺ explained this verse. Prophet ﷺ himself. He said al-husna is al-jannah, and al-ziyada is when the believers would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The extra that they will get is that the believers would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the most joyful thing for the believers in Jannah. The most joyful thing, more than any physical pleasure they receive, the utmost pleasure is when they see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is also an explanation where the Sunnah explains the Quran. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the kuffar, Surah Al-Mutaffifin, verse number 15, كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. Nay, they are indeed عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ, away from the Lord on that day, لَمَحْجُوبُونَ, meaning they are sealed away. They cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The disbelievers, they won't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means what? With the opposite of the meaning of the verse. That means the believers will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be deprived from this ultimate pleasure. And that's what he says, فَإِذَا حَجَبَ أَعْدَاءَهُ لَمْ يَحْجُبْ أَوْلِيَاءَهُ. That if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hajab from hijab, right? If he hajab أَعْدَائِهِ, what the hijab do? Conceals. That's why the hijab is not some culturally dressed clothes. Hijab has a meaning to it. It's a word has a meaning to it. So the hijab is the barrier between two things. So if he deprived his enemies, the kuffar, from seeing him, that means the believers will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in Bukhari and Muslim, the hadith of Jarir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu قال كنا جلوسا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. We were sitting with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. فنظر إلى القمر ليلة 14. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم looked at the moon on the night of the 14th full moon. فقال, so he said, إنكم سترون ربكم عيانا كما ترون هذا. That you indeed will see, سترون ربكم, you will see your Lord عيانا. عيانا means عيانا with your eyes, right, without any doubt. سترون ربكم is enough, which means you will see your Lord. But why the word عيانا is mentioned? So that no doubt whatsoever, so that nobody might interpret it differently when it's actually there's no interpretation differently to what it is. But the word عيان is mentioned so that the method is very clear. More ta'keed to it, more stressing the fact of it. عيانا meaning with your own eyes. كما ترون هذا, exactly like you see that, which is the moon. The Prophet ﷺ is giving the example here to the seeing, not that like some deviants they said resembling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the moon, of course not. But he means the ease that you get to see the moon when it's full, the same ease you will have when you get to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why it's made clear in the next sentence. لا تضمون في رؤيتي. لا تضمون يعني لا يضم بعضكم إلى بعض. You don't get closer to each other to be able to see. Like if you see something on the ground and a whole bunch of people are trying to see it, they have to push each other, look. Right? But when you look at the moon, if there's a million people down there, you don't say, excuse me, can I just move a little bit so that I can see, unless the sun is very high and he's bent or something. No, it's people don't do this, so they don't push each other to see the moon. So how easy it is, right? The same thing, they would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their own eyes. فَإِنِ اسْتَطَعْتُمْ, then the Prophet said, فَإِنِ اسْتَطَعْتُمْ أَلَّا تُغْلَبُوا عَلَى صَلَاةٍ قَبْلَ طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ وَصَلَاةٍ قَبْلَ غُرُوبِهَا فَافْعَلُوا, which means if you are capable, that you're never overpowered or defeated on praying a salah before the sunrise and a salah before the sunset, and do so, which is Fajr al-Asr. We talked about that before, which means, as the Imam al-Ulama, they say, in Jama'ah. So this is the way for the believers to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Day of Judgment, is by being obedient to Allah and making sure that they pray their salah. And also he said, كَمَا تَرَوْنَ هَذَا, as he said, as you see this, أي كرؤيتكم هذا القمر تشبيه للرؤية بالرؤية لا للمرئي بالمرئي. And he explained what he said, that the Prophet ﷺ is given the resemblance here of the ru'ya, of seeing, or when a person would see. What's ru'ya? What's the pronoun of the word ru'ya? When something is seen, right? This is the explanation. Not that the qamar is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no. It's the ease of seeing. Also, he mentioned another example of how the example or the resemblance is mentioned. For example, the hadith ضربت الملائكة بأجنحتها خضعانا لقوله كأنه سلسلة على صفوان. هذا تشبيه بالسماع للسماع لا للمسموع للمسموع. It's like the hadith when the angels, when the decree from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, they hit with their wings and they make a sound like an iron chain on a soft rock. Very loud sound. It's saying the example here is about the way that they hear, not the exact sound. It's the way that they hear is explained here. It's the same parable. The hearing thing, not the sound itself. Understand? So the same thing when it comes to seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he says, of course, the Prophet ﷺ would not make tashbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to one of the creations of Allah. Or you'd say that Allah is similar to His creation. Of course not. It's about looking. It's about the fact that people would see it in ease. They would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also in ease. Who among the Muslims, they deny this? Some groups, they deny that the believers would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. Like some of the sects of the Khawarij, right? Like the Ibadiyya in Oman. The Ibadiyya in Oman, this firqa al-Ibadiyya, they deny that the believers would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. Then he says, وفي حديث صهيب عند مسلم فيكشف الحجاب. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would lift the hijab or the barrier. فما أعطوا شيئا أحب إليهم من النظر إلى ربهم عز وجل. As it's mentioned in the hadith Sahih Muslim, there is nothing they would be given more beloved to them than looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, looking at the Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the Prophet recited the ayah of Surah Yunus, الذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة. And there are many hadith in this. Right? And he says here, there is like, he mentioned his book, which is a very good book, Sunnah al-Usul, and it's Sharh. It's a very good book in Aqeedah, which is more detailed than this, which is the second level. You can study that as a second level. By the same author, he mentioned 45 hadith in it, from more than 30 sahabi, from the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. That's why whoever disbelieves in this, right, he is basically denying the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and he will be among those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. They will be deprived then from such a great honor for the believers when they see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who would see His face subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. So this is a matter of belief, matter of aqeedah, matter of unseen. Why is it important? Because some people had deviated and disbelieved in this when the matter is so clear. Then the next thing is الإيمان بالشفاعة. To believe in الشفاعة or the intercession. وممن تكون, from who, ولمن تكون, and for who, and ومتى تكون, and when it would be. We talked about it before, but so the shafa'a is also a matter of aqeedah because it's unseen. One of the things about the matters of the hereafter. And the word shafa'a comes from shafa'a or shafa'a, right? Which means when you make something odd, you make it even. So you add something to something, right? Which has the effect of the meaning of it, that a person is alone. He seeks the shafa'a, meaning the help or something from someone else for his own benefit. So the shafa'a here means that the Prophet ﷺ, for example, will intercede for his ummah, for the sinners, for the people to enter Jannah and so on. It doesn't mean that it takes away the purpose of our life, and that is that we need to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on. No. But this is as it will be mentioned. It's to honor the one that is given the shafa'ah, which is the Prophet ﷺ and the believers and so on. And no one will receive this shafa'ah unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with him. And it's only given by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's nothing to negate the matters of tawheed. It's not permissible for a person to seek it from the human being. It is not permissible for a Muslim to say, O Prophet of Allah, intercede for me. It is not permissible. You ask the shafa'ah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first he mentioned that the shafa'ah is mentioned in many verses in the Quran, and it's mentioned with heavy conditions with it, right? And it's not open like this for anybody that will intercede without any condition or with heavy conditions that would not negate anything of the perfection of the Tawheed, the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as he says, وَأَخْبَرْنَا تَعَالَى أَنَّهَا مِلْكٌ لَهُ لَيْسَ لِأَحَدٍ فِيهَا شَيْءٍ. That it's owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nobody has any share of it whatsoever. قُلْ لِلَّهِ الشَّفَاعَةُ جَمِيعًا. Say Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to Allah. As we said, when the sentence starts with al-jar wal-majroor, lillah, that means what? It's so exclusive. To Allah, the shafa'ah, the intercession, jami'an, all of it. To Allah, the shafa'ah is enough for you to understand that it's to Allah. But jami'an, to make it no doubt, no exceptions whatsoever, that means it's all to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is, the shafa'ah is from Allah. This is the first thing. The second thing is meta takun, when it would be. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He informed us that it would never be except by or after the permission of Allah. قال تعالى من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه. Who would intercede to him except by his permission or after his permission. ما من شفيع إلا من بعد إذنه. There is no shafi' unless it's after the permission of Allah. And many verses that he mentioned here that gives the same meaning. Right? So it's always the shafa'ah mentioned in the Quran with this qayd, with this stipulation to it, right? The conditions with it, that it's not just open so that people would commit shirk. No, it's owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's given after the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and from who it would be. He said subhanahu wa ta'ala that لا تكون إلا من بعد إذنه. He also informed us أنه لا يأذن إلا لأوليائه المرتضين الأخيار. That he would only give the permission to those who are his awliya, right? The close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who Allah is pleased with them, the righteous ones. As he said subhanahu wa ta'ala, لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صار. That لا يملكون الشفاعة إلا من اتخذ عند الرحمن عهدا. They don't intercede except those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the covenant for they fulfill it. Who are the ones that will be the subject of the shafa'ah? It's only for those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with them. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَشْفَعُونَ إِلَّا لِمَنْ يَرْتَضَى. They won't intercede except for those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala irtada, from al-rida, that means He's pleased with them. يَوْمَئِذٍ لَا تَنْفَعُ الشَّفَاعَةُ إِلَّا مَنْ آذِنَ لَهُ الرَّحْمَنُ وَرَضِيَ لَهُ قَوْلًا. For those who after the permission of Allah and He's pleased with their speech. And as He says, وَهُ سُبْحَانَهُ لَا يَرْتَضِي إلا أهل التوحيد والإخلاص وأما غيرهم فقال تعالى ما للظالمين من حميم ولا شفيع يطاع. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be pleased with those who commit shirk, so they will not receive the shafa'ah, those who associate partners with Allah. Only those are the people of the tawheed, those of the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and the sincerity in this, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the zalimeen, the transgressors, they have no close or intimate friend in the day of judgment, and no shafi'ah. No shafi' will be obeyed. They will not, it will not benefit them, the shafi'. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the disbelievers when they say فَمَا لَنَا مِنْ شَافِعِينَ وَلَا صَدِيقٍ حَمِيمٍ. We have no shafi'een, we have no people to intercede for us, to defend us, and we have no close friends and intimate friends that can benefit us. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Mudaththir 48, فَمَا تَنْفَعُهُمْ شَفَاعَةُ الشَّافِعِينَ. It would not benefit them, the shafa'ah of the shafi'een. The shafa'ah of those who intercede for them. And the hadith, the long hadith of the shafa'ah of the Prophet ﷺ, that he informed us that he will be given the shafa'ah and then he would come under the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, under the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he would make sujood and he would praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bimahamid, by means of praise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will teach it to the Prophet ﷺ that he never knew before. But the way we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the Prophet ﷺ used to say in the day of judgment, he will be inspired with more that he never said this before, and that's why the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that is unlimited. And then he will not start with the shafa'ah till he will be told, irfa' ra'sak, that means raise your head, وَقُلْ يسمع وسل تعطى واشفع تشفع. It will be said to the Prophet ﷺ, raise your hand from the sujood, say and it will be heard, ask and it will be given, and washfa and intercede and it will be granted. So it's after the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that in the hadith he said that he does not make shafa'ah in all of the sinners of the people of the Tawheed in one duf'a wahida, in one shot like this, because it's a fact that some of the believers, some of those who die in the state of the Tawheed, they will enter the hellfire. So the shafa'ah of the Prophet ﷺ is from more than one time, as it will come in the next question. Some people, they will benefit from it, they will enter Jannah by the will of Allah without hellfire. These are sinners. They deserve to enter the hellfire, but they won't by the blessings of the shafa'ah. And some people will enter the hellfire, but the shafa'ah comes later. Because once they go out of the hellfire, it's by the shafa'ah, but Allahu A'lam how long they will be there. So anybody that dies in the state of the Tawheed, they will eventually enter Jannah, either immediately or after being in the hellfire, and some of them will be from the first instant by the shafa'ah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, he said alayhi salatu wasalam, فَيُحَدُّ لِي حَدًّا فَأُدْخِلَهُمْ الْجَنَّةِ. It will be given to me a portion that I will make them enter Jannah. Then he will go back and make sujood the same way, and then he will be given another portion, and he will make them enter Jannah and so on. So they're not all from the same time. It will be more than group after the Prophet ﷺ will go and ask and make sujood and so on. And when Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he asked the Prophet ﷺ, مَنْ أَسْعَدُ النَّاسِ بِشَفَاعَتِهِ, who is the most happiest people by your shafa'ah, O Prophet of Allah? He said, مَنْ قَالَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ خَالِصًا مِنْ قَلْبِهِ. Whoever says La ilaha illallah sincerely, purely from his heart, not the ones that would intercede or would seek other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but those who have the pure and the ultimate and the perfect tawheed. Then the next thing is how many types of shafa'ah. The highest of them all is the shafa'ah al-uzma, the biggest shafa'ah, the shafa'ah in the mawqif of al-qiyamah, in the gathering of the day of judgment, when there's the believers and the disbelievers and so on, before fasl al-qada, as mentioned, before the judgment among the people, when they're waiting for the reckoning and so on. And this is only special to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is al-maqam al-mahmud, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, عَسَىٰ أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. This highest level to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when the people, the matter is so tight on them, standing for a long, long time, and the sweat and so on, they would go from one Prophet to the other, as it's mentioned in the hadith of al-shafa'ah, and each one would say, nafsi, nafsi, myself, myself, till they go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he would say, ana laha, I am for it, and he would go and make sujood and so on. So this is a shafa'ah al-uzma. We need to know them and memorize them. This is the first type of shafa'ah to the Prophet sallallahu. The second type of the shafa'ah, fi istiftahi bab al-jannah, to open the bab or the door or the gate of Jannah. And the first one to open it is the Prophet sallallahu. So this is the way of intercession. It won't be opened unless the Prophet sallallahu would ask for it to be opened. So this is an intercession. And the first of those who would enter Jannah are from the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. So this is the second type to enter Jannah. The third one, الشفاعة في أقوام قد أمر بهم إلى النار ألا يدخلوها. The shafa'ah, the intercession for a group of people, they were ordered to go to the hellfire, but they won't enter the hellfire by the mercy of Allah with this shafa'ah. They were already ordered to go to the hellfire, but then they won't enter by the shafa'ah. The fourth one, في من دخلها. For those who would enter the hellfire from the people of the Tawheed because of their sins and so on, then they would be ordered to go out of it, and they would come out of it burned, right? And they become totally burned. They would be thrown into Nahr al-Hayah, to the river of life, and they would plant like the habba, like the seed would plant in the flood, meaning quickly. That means their skin and so on would go back to them. So this is number 4, for those who are already into the hellfire. Number 5, الشفاعة في رفع درجات أقوام من أهل الجنة. The shafa'ah for those in Jannah already, but to elevate them in another or higher level in Jannah. And he says, these three is not just for the Prophet ﷺ, but of course he comes before all the messengers of Allah, which meaning the one after the first one. The first one is only exclusive to the Prophet ﷺ. The rest so far is for also other than the Prophet ﷺ, for other messengers and so on. Number 6 is the shafa'ah to تخفيف عذاب بعض الكفار, to lessen the punishment on some of the disbelievers, not to take them out of the hellfire, this is never to be done, but to lessen the punishment, and that's only to the Prophet ﷺ, towards his uncle Abu Talib, as it mentioned in Sahih Muslim, which he said, وَلَا تَزَالْ جَهَنَّمْ يُلْقَى فِيهَا وَتَقُولْ هَلْ مِن مَزِيدٍ وَلَا تَزَالُ جَهَنَّمْ يُلْقَى فِيهَا وَتَقُولْ هَلْ مِن مَزِيدٍ حتى يضع رب العزة فيها قدمه فينزوي بعضها إلى بعض وتقول قط قط وعزتك ويبقى في الجنة فضل عمن دخلها فينشئ الله تعالى أقواما to the end, which means in the hadith where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the hellfire would say هل من مزيد, is there more? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would put his foot in it and it would get within each other, together to each other, the hellfire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best how, and it would make that noise because it's been tightened and so on. And there would be some people that would not enter the Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would create them to enter Jannah, right? Some creation of Allah would be created to enter Jannah, to fill the Jannah. But the point here with the shafa'ah, that the Prophet ﷺ was given the permission to lessen the punishment for his uncle Abu Talib, and the least, which is him, in the punishment in the hellfire, as the Prophet ﷺ said, 2 hot coals under his foot, that his brain would boil as a result of that heat, which is someone that person will consider that he is the most of the people of the hellfire when it comes to punishment. There's one thing before the Iman, the Qadr, but we'll leave it for next time. We'll stop inshallah this way.